You're listening to Polymatic.media, episode 90 for April 2022. Welcome to the Polymaticast. Hey, John. I was laughing there because I had that moment we were having that conversation from last show about how I say 2022.
2022.
Yeah. How's it going?
Meh. Pretty
Yeah.
okay, but not much
Well,
happened. I think the last time we recorded it was like 2 weeks ago.
right, yeah,
So,
because it was just sort of life stuff was just all happening. And for me, it's sort of happening in my weekends again, but I'm able to sort of manage everything together, so that's good. But yeah, no, I mean, I was like, holy crap, we're at April already,
yeah, it's going pretty fast.
and for the most part, I kind of stayed mostly offline on Friday, so I avoided a lot of the stupidity of April Fools. I
I'm
saw one or two. They were
I'm going to be
okay.
hitting I think the next time we record next time we'll record it will be the beginning of May, right? So,
Hmm.
probably the first weekend of May. That will be like the day after I turn 40.
Oh, really?
Oh
Well,
no.
in terms of, and it was just because the day that I started it, it was not meant to be a joke. But when I started this Otaku's Life, it was on April 1st. So that show, I had to think about it. I'm like, I think that show is 11 years old. And again, it's just me ranting, so it's not really like a meaningful show. Um, but it's just something I've been doing for 11 years, and you're just thinking, wow, that's a lot of time.
Mhm.
Just how time sort of flies. And I would say, I don't know, since the new job, time has been flying by very fast. You know.
When was the last time you went to San Francisco? You went twice, right?
That would have been 2010, maybe 2011. When we
Was it
go?
2012?
No, it wasn't 2012. I wasn't in this house. I don't think you. No, maybe you were here. You were here at least once, right? In the
Yeah, I
new
think
house.
twice, maybe 3 times.
Okay, so maybe then because I think I moved here edge of 2010, maybe 2011. I think that was about it. Yeah, somewhere in there. Maybe it was in 2011. I was definitely here in 2011. That I know.
Yeah.
And I think I moved and then I transitioned at the end of 2011. I was here, so I think that's what happened with this me moving here. I think it was 2011. So I've been here for about 11 years.
Time flies when you're busy.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Hmm.
It's the older you get, the less you are concerned about sort of the years.
Hmm.
You know, it's just it's like it's another birthday. Okay. Let me celebrate your birthday. Let's make a big deal about it that we never talk about or care about any time of the year. Hey, it's a reason to celebrate something. And I'm like, it's just another birthday. Oh, don't you? No, I don't feel anything about it. I feel the same, more or less. I look in the mirror. I look older. Okay, but sort of my energy and my personality, I'm all still here.
So, speaking of getting older and more responsible, I hear you have some updates on your house situation.
So I went through and I got another pre-approval. Again, it's kind of same amount. Just to kind of have it on the books, just to see if I can get a better deal or whatever it is. Just per the advice of my mortgage broker, I reached out to another lender. Okay. So normally, what happens is when you do an inquiry on that in your credit history, the credit score, they kind of ding you a little bit, and you got an inquiry within the last 12 months on your credit from an agency, whatever it is. Like they don't that agency, no one knows, is it a car loan, is it a house loan, what is it, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, the my bank one credit score didn't go down, but the ones from the credit reporting agencies, they ding me like a point or two or something like that. So the idea is you don't want to do too many of those inquiries to go talk to lenders and, do that too much too
Yeah.
frequently. So I did that. And I reached out to him. I realized, oh, right. I felt like I don't know what I was expecting. I was just sort of having a busy life, and I was expecting people to chase me down, and then I just sort of dawned on me. I'm like, I have to go and initiate, do follow ups. I have to do the initiation of talking to mortgage brokers. Say, okay, let's look at these couple communities. Like I have to do those initiate, and I know better. But I don't know what it was that I was waiting for. I was waiting for people to like call me up randomly or email me and pester me. And I guess maybe that's because you get a bazillion emails where people are trying to like get you to do loans or get you to new insurance. Like I was just sort of I don't know what was in my brain, but I was busy and it wasn't a priority in my head to initiate or seed the next phase of things. So I reached out, sent an email to the mortgage broker, and said, "Okay, let's look at these two things." I followed up with the other lender. I said, "Are we good? Do you need anything else?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I had a busy weekend. Sorry, I'll have that for you in a couple hours." And he did. So it's just one of those things where if I want something done, I gotta go chase it. And
Yep.
so on Thursday, I took a half day later in the day, and I went out and I saw one of two communities where they're getting into their near phase of the final homes, right? And this is new construction stuff. So new construction stuff, they have all kinds of things that are I would say is kind of slimy, but you pay for what do you call it? Plot premiums where you get to choose which space you want, and they charge you only a measly 14,000 for it, that kind
Wow.
of stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you know. Um, so I went and looked at one community that was a little, maybe 2 miles farther out from the other one, and it just feels too far out. Just feels a little too far out there. And the houses are roughly nice. I saw four different layouts, and I think they make good use of space. Um, when I did just a random open house before I had a mortgage broker out here, I saw what they advertised. It didn't feel like it was good use of space. It felt cramped. So I went out, I looked at these places. They're reporting sort of the same size. And oh boy, do they do a much better job of utilizing that space. And out of the four configurations, at least two of them work for me in my brain. But even if the base is a little less, everything is like optional. Oh, you want an upgrade? Okay, it's this. If you want one of those, oh, it's this. Oh, you want this? It's this and this and this. And it goes over generally in my brain where I was trying to budget low. So I'm now past the conversation in my head that I need to calculate up prices, take a look at the options, and see what the totals kind of look like. And then in any case, there's no sort of move in by May kind of scenario. Everything is you got to get put down your deposit and reserve your spot, and then just wait it out nearly half a year to a year because they're still building the homes, right? They're still doing that work.
Hmm.
So I think, and maybe time is what I need. So maybe I go down that process of putting a deposit down on something, going through and looking at the numbers, and I'll be spending more than I kind of was initially wanting to. But I can still do it. It's just, it just means a little less surplus in my pocket. Um, so that being said, I saw the second community, and that was the one that sort of made me target that area. And they're much different. A whole bunch of stuff is sort of they just give you. Sort of upgrades are just sort of by comparison to the other community, the upgrades are already sort of just there. First floor is all hardwood. The last final five or something that they have, they're just going to finish the basements, and that would be probably the space where I set up office and set up again podcast space. Except the podcast space and my office will probably be all the same area, right? I won't like have studio down here and office upstairs. Like I might not do that. And boy, oh boy, do they make really good use of space. I mean, hallways don't feel cramped, they feel wide. Laundry room is actually a room. There's a walk in closet. It's not just like this hole in the wall with some doors on it, right? Nothing feels cramped. And also, obviously, general reminder, I'll be living alone. Oh, and I would get a garage, ample enough for me to take half of it and put, a bunch of, like workshop shelves and stuff in there, and put my filming gear and anything I want to do in that environment. So
That sounds more like a better plan.
yeah, and the layouts. The one thing I really like is when I looked years ago before I moved here, uh, and I wasn't really ready to do that. I didn't have the assets sitting around. I have the assets now. So, when I was looking at there was no new houses. Anything that might have been new would have been way too much even back then, 10 years ago. And surprisingly, salaries have not gone up in 10 years. Around here. So it's not like, the prices are almost about the same. And so I was looking around at places, and most of them were houses with age, houses with a little less age. Even this house, it's like they take an open area and they feel like they have to generate 9 separate, consolidated, compartmentalized rooms out of that space. And I just never loved that. And that has been a trend since the 50s. Well, maybe since the 70s all the way up until maybe about 5 years ago, where now the new layout is open space, right? Your kitchen sort of immediately opens up into like family living room, rec room area. And they might put a wall up or something, or add like a solarium where you could put like the dining table and stuff like that. But it's when you go to houses back in out here in like the 30s, what they did is they emphasize the family living area as open space, and then bedrooms are really just small, just for you to have a couple, maybe a closet or like a bureau or something like that, and a bed. And downstairs there would be lots of open family living space. Well, here they now give you reasonably sized rooms. They give you reasonable sort of open area upstairs, and now they're giving you very much open area, in the family living area, integrated right in, flows right into the kitchen. So you could look for houses that compartmentalize like that, but that has never been my open layout. That kind of like I like open layout. So that's it. Those are the updates. I kind of got a look at things, and I think of the two, the second one is the one I'm interested in. But I want to take a second look at the slightly larger ones that I didn't see that are real close to where I live right now. To at least put the final thought that it's not an option I want. And then the next phase of that will be to go to the mortgage broker and say, okay, can we start engaging a conversation about prices, and see where I'm at, and maybe I go to a third lender who or go back to the current one, most recent one I want to, and say, hey, can you hold on to this rate for 12 months? Because I have to put the deposit down, but I don't really have to start the financing at that rate until
Hmm.
until I do closing, right?
I had to this year. I had to renew the mortgage on my house to set the interest rate to a fixed rate again.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a fixed rate for 10 years. And this year was very good for me because I went from 4.9 or 4.6, something around that percent
Mm-hmm.
interest, to like 1.5. So I'm very
Right.
happy about that.
I know when you get down to refinancing, the rates come down low, and also that
Yeah, but
it depends on how like you've proved that you can pay for this.
but the fun part is like my mortgage payments go down by $200-300 a month. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really nice. It's really nice. I really love it. It's very nice.
Yeah. So for me, the rates were lower 6 months ago, um, and I wasn't. Again, it was the same. I have to initiate the process, right?
Mm.
If I want to be able to take this 401k out and use that as a deposit, because it was a spare one I had from a previous job that I forgot about. Like in the course of me sort of waiting, I earned like in that 401k, it went up about $30,000 or near $25,000 or some change. So I benefited from me sort of being lazy and waiting, but I should have initiated earlier rather than later. And I didn't know what I needed to do, and I had to figure out my crap to do that. And then I finally did, and I was like, I don't know what I was waiting on, right? Was
Yeah.
I just, I don't not pay my bills. I pay my bills, right? I've proven myself, but because you don't know where you're at in the world, it's like going to a job interview. Do you think you are
Mm-hmm.
good as you are? Well, I mean, I've more than the quarter century of experience, so the answer is probably
So you're
yes.
putting things off.
Yeah, and so you put things off, you procrastinate,
Mm-hmm.
and this situation isn't positive for me, right? What I'm in right now. I need my
Mm-hmm.
own space. I need control over it. I need an environment that when I clean it, it stays clean, and that I'm in control of my dirt. You know what I mean? Like I don't have other people making a mess for me.
Yeah. Well.
And it's just that whole environment, and more importantly, this house, even though I'm renting it, it's got a little age and it's got little problems. And even though I sort of moved in here, I took crap with me that I just, decided I would make use of. And then ultimately I didn't use it. So I just need to get rid of that. So I need a sort of spring clean sort of, you know, stuff so I don't carry any of that with me. So anyhow, that's a housing update. I sort of got an actual active look at them. And maybe I was going too fast because I was pretty, yeah, let me go downstairs. Let's take a look. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. And, the mortgage broker, she asked good questions, right? And that's how I sort of learn. And I don't think to ask them, and she does. And I go, okay, got it. I have an answer now that I didn't think to ask. So, yeah. So anyhow, that was sort of the result of the whole experience. So,
Yeah. Well, I do the same thing with putting off like taxes and stuff. I have my taxes for last year that I had to do, and I put it off till last day of the month.
oh, so that
Well, I can still wait like another month before I
yeah.
need to actually file it, but like,
So I guess technically, to file my taxes. I have a little less than a week and a half left, but I did it like as early as I could. So I,
yeah,
I did it somewhere. I procrastinated for like. So my big problem is they don't send the particular thing you need in the mail. They should have always wait until like end of January at the earliest, or end of February. So like my brain's like, all right, gotta take care of this. Let's take care of this in February. Oh, I can't. I'm waiting on people. I'm waiting on things. And I noticed I didn't get something, so I went to the electronic thing and I looked up and I pulled up the PDF and I extracted the information I needed and I filed it. And I
yeah,
was like, okay, easy peasy done.
hmm
And again, at this point, it cost me more to do the service for the taxes than it does for me to pay the taxes. My taxes are like next to nothing right now
Oh, I forget
until I
that
buy a
you
house, I
guys have
guess.
to pay to file your taxes.
Well, so they do it. I think it's free at federal, and you have to pay for state. Uh, but the problem, and
You
you
know what they
couldn't
call that?
just figure it out yourself and do it. You don't have to pay
Scam.
an accountant. But like everything, it's more complicated than it needs to be, and that's why you pay an accountant. But if you go to an accountant, no matter what your taxes are, a good accountant will charge you $600.
Do you, okay, so here in the Netherlands, like the enlightened part of the world with regards to taxes,
Mm-hmm.
well, there's still some problems here, but like they pre-fill your taxes.
Mm-hmm. So I'll tell you what the advantage is when I go do the TurboTax, right? Which is not maybe the best of services, but it's the one where um, they figured out the process to meet sort of filing taxes and finances with software. So Intuit did that. I don't know if they were the first, but they were definitely, sort of
Well,
had
they
been
have a
sort of the
monopoly,
Cadillac for
so
that.
yeah.
So what they do is because they know your previous, especially when you've been following with them for years, they have your previous information. So they all sort of automatically can search up directly with previous employers, or you tell them who the employer is, and either you have to manually fill it in, or they get that information for you sort of automagically, and then
Mm.
you just confirm details, and then they look for other ways where they can, apply a rebate or apply, special conditions or something, so that they can optimize it so that you pay as little tax as possible, right? Based on sort of laws and regulations. Now, not illegal stuff. This all falls in the league. So, for
Yeah.
example, if I was driving for my job, there is, maybe not so much for EVs, but there is um, a mileage and wear and gas amount that you can put. So if I have to
Yeah.
drive 2,000 miles a year for my job, as part of my job, I can write that off, which means that they tax me that much less. So there's lots of conditions like that. Or if I was in the military for half of the year, and or I was employed by Google and the paycheck is coming from California, but I live in Pennsylvania. Depending on where I live and all those conditions will determine all kinds of stuff of how I get taxed. Like I might not be um, have to pay high California taxes for a lot of stuff um, because I live in Pennsylvania and I don't work in California.
So over here you get the your employer files taxes for you. So everything that it get taken out at the paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So what you get is after taxes,
Mm-hmm.
and then next year, around March, April, you get a little blue envelope. It says, "Hey, you should do your taxes," and then you can get money back or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or have
And
to pay
that's
more if you earned outside of your.
right. Yeah. If you have had, we call that 1099. So yeah, that's a very similar process here. And then there's all the other things like, of course, we pay for health insurance. So
Yeah, but we don't have like if you have to talk to the tax guy, like if you have to actually do anything but fill out the default taxes, then
mm-hmm.
there's probably something up. Like
Right,
there's no reason you should actually ever have to
talk to
you
an
know
accountant.
yeah, because
Yeah,
most of this stuff is very simple.
yeah, they don't do that around here.
They have all the information they need to file the taxes properly. Problem is that we do give certain large international companies huge tax breaks, which is kind of a bummer. So yeah, there's lots of money that goes away and that we have to spend money on our
Yeah,
end.
just one of the many disadvantages of living here is just because that complication, you know. So
Anyway, I bought some games.
yeah.
I bought Elden Ring, and then 15 minutes later, I refunded it.
Oh, really? You don't like it?
Yeah. No, I
Everyone
didn't like.
has been talking about it.
Oh man, there's so many people that are going. They're very excited about Elden Ring,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, fine, I'll get the game. So
Mm-hmm.
I bought it, downloaded it, and then the next day I was ready to play. I bought it late, so I didn't. And then the next day I started playing it, and like after 15 minutes of playing, I was like, okay, this is not for me. It feels so. I don't know. The keyboard control, it doesn't feel good.
Can
I
you
feel
control that? Customize
what?
it?
Yeah, you can use a controller. That's what it's made for. But like
Mm.
keyboard mouse controls are really bad. So I refunded it, and then I got the refund really quickly. But I have bought Cyberpunk in the past, and I got bummed out by the first act, because the first act you hear some bad stuff, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to continue playing this, but I started playing it again, and yeah, so far it's been pretty good. I like it. There's there's still the thing on the horizon that doesn't sound very good, but like there's lots of stuff I can just go explore that city. It's just very nice. Um, you can steal cars. That's also pretty fun. And steal people's bikes and get around. So I've been just driving around exploring things. Of course, you get all those side missions and stuff popping up while you're driving
Hmm.
around, but like for the most part, it's just during the day and night you just go through the cycle and you can go and explore a little bit, and that's pretty nice. I like that. I like that. There's no real you have to go do this now. You have to
Mm.
you do get like missions and stuff, but like I like the whole driving around thing. There's a lot of crime, of course, in that city, so it's kind of annoying. I
So
would I would I would I would really enjoy a peaceful mode.
I never, I guess I didn't play enough of the. So I played Grand Theft Auto. I guess would have been two. Would have been beyond the top down. This is when it came to the PlayStation. And I used to enjoy sort of, you had sort of a campaign and stuff in there to unlock the other. You had to do some missions to unlock, let's say, the next island or whatever it was. And I know in San Andreas, like, there was like three islands or something like that. And I don't think I got very far with it because I was not very competent at the game. But one of the things I liked about it was I didn't really have to do the missions, right?
Uh-huh.
And once I got like a sniper, rifle, I would sit up on the monorail and the on train tracks, and I would just shoot people, and like I was just enjoying that, just getting better at sniping people, and well, it's
That
just like
sounds dodgy.
well, but I mean, it's just like this is the same thing. You just drive around and you look at stuff. Now, obviously, the environment was not nearly the same, right? Not as probably not as large and ominous is probably what Cyberpunk is about.
It feels really big. Feels like a
Hmm.
really big place.
Yeah.
Also, it's from what I can see, like the distances they're talking about, like it's 5 kilometers away. It was okay. So that's about the same size as my city that I live in. I'm like, yeah, yeah. It feels kind of smaller than that, but like there's still lots of big stuff,
Hmm.
and it looks at first when you walk around the inside of the city is you get lost a lot. So it's like, oh, how am I supposed to get from here to here? And eventually you start noticing, oh yeah, this is where I am right now. So you started to notice where you don't have to use the map to figure out where you are.
Hmm.
That's kind of cool. You said, oh, I recognize this shop. I've been here before.
Right.
It's like that's where I shot all those punks. It's I like it. But still, the story itself, there's some. I'm looking for if there's a way to either have a mod or something like and avoid certain things that I don't want to have to deal with. That's kind of a thing. So yeah, I hope it's I hope I can get that. Yeah, and you can buy an apartment or rent an apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. There's also lots of references to other things. There's like if you walk into like a little market, and then there's people talking about um, what I think they're referring to bugs in the game. They're talking about QA people, and there's like, oh yeah, they found that bug. It was a mess. Blah blah blah. I'm like, huh. Is this like some reference to some game tester they're discussing here? It's kind of funny, kind of like it. I don't know if like I normally when I go into these games, like for example, if I play Mass Effect or whatever, I go in like and I play all the side missions. So I did all the um, for Horizon Zero Dawn. I got like pretty high up percentage of like the achievements. Like I did most of the side quest stuff, and like everything I have left is like do the new game plus. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I've done that. I've done that once with another game. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to spend all this time on this game again.
Yeah.
But like for this, I'm like, I don't want to really do all the side quests. On the other hand, I'm like, okay, I just enjoy playing around in this game a little bit, and it's kind of nice to have something to play again that I haven't played many games on this machine yet. But I really think I need a new video card because my current video card is a 1660 Super, which
Mm-hmm.
is good. But I got it just before the the whole GPUs are like
Mm-hmm.
unobtainium. Yeah, sorry, unobtainium.
Right, and all these games are sort of being built for something more recent.
Yeah, so the
Um,
30 series
mhm.
came out, and like
And now they're into
you
the
just can't get them.
TIs, which means that the normal non-TIs will. Well, okay. There's. I was gonna say in normal circumstances they'd be a little less, but obviously not. They'll
Well,
still be the same price.
from what I heard is that they were gonna go down.
People
So, but
expect it to go
I think
down, but
yeah, but I
it's
think in
not
the
like the
U.S.
TIs
they
are
did
abundant either.
the in the U.S. people they dropped some regulation or something,
Okay.
so you don't get the extra uh, levies on top of like the prices because the graphics card went up if something came from China
Mm-hmm.
or like somewhere outside of the U.S. like from the former administration.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I don't think we had that problem here. We're just they're still very expensive over here.
Yeah. Well, you just got to
So
be willing to spend the money.
yeah, but I think if I get a 3060, it should be fine. I should be fine with
3060 is
like
fine.
yeah.
3070 is good. Um, yeah, I have a 3080. I didn't feel like I needed a 3090. I had an opportunity to spend extra money for a 3090. I just didn't see the point of going that far. For me, a 3080 is sufficient, right? And it still remains to be sufficient. Though I hear it spin up its fan, it doesn't sound like sounds. I don't know. Sounds like maybe not a fan is having a hard time, but I hear some noise from inside the case. So I was like, uh oh, the fan's
Uh oh.
going or something. So I might find myself in a situation where I gotta buy, a brand new card if I could get one. You know,
Wow.
I still have. Oh, it's upstairs because I packed it up because I used it. I still have my 2070 in the eGPU, so I could probably crack that out and plug that into something if I needed to.
Well, if you want to have a look at it over um, a call, we're gonna have a look at it, see what the noise is coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to. I think it's the day that I like move house or something. I'll probably open it up. Otherwise, it's fine. I don't know where I'm hearing the little clinky noise coming from. It just sort of it takes a moment when it spins up. So I'm also not really putting the GPU under any crazy stress
Huh.
normally. So
Hmm. Maybe it's not your GPU. Maybe it's your water cooling.
or something, yeah, it's possible.
Anyway, so Cyberpunk, it's now got my seal of approval, even though I didn't like it at first. But
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's like the that after that first mission, you get some news, and it's like, oh yeah, you're. Well, no, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah, it was not good. So I decided to leave it for a while, and then now I'm getting back into it. So that's good. Also got Horizon Forbidden West. Um, on the PS5. I also played like through the first mission, and then I decided, okay, I'm not gonna play this for a while because I've got other stuff to do. So I've got a PS4 with a with Horizon Zero Dawn. That's the only game I got for it, and then I can use it as a Blu-ray player or something like that. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't really play video games anymore. It's just
I never really did. So with the except of the couple that like Animal Crossing or Stardew or Minecraft, but like I hesitated there because I only kind of play two regular ones, and it's just to burn my brain out for the end of the night so I can go to sleep.
hmm.
And they're nothing, it's the Battletopia and uh, Dorf Romanic or something like that. It's kind of like
It's a tile game,
Carcassonne.
right?
Hmm?
Tiles.
Tiles, yeah.
Yeah.
I gifted that to Pyson. I've not really talked to him about it, hoping that I thought he would like that game. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it. It's simple. It's easy. I can play it. And then gets me to a point where I feel tired, and then I can go to sleep. And that's usually when I watch a TV show or something on the side. Like I was watching Reacher recently. I think I'm gonna be done with season one in a couple more episodes. So.
Oh, Picard new episode dropped last Friday, and I haven't watched it yet. And I was like, okay, I didn't want to watch it after the last
Yeah, they're
debacle.
well into what they're doing for this season. We're getting a little more depth on
I'm starting
details.
to think I'm gonna stop watching anything Star Trek related ever again.
See, I don't mind Discovery. I'm okay with Picard. I guess I'm a little more tolerant compared to most people. They're just like, no, I don't like this. This isn't the chocolate chip cookies and milk that I like to eat every single night. Like, okay, well, you shouldn't be doing that.
Well,
Let's
I did
start with
like
that.
the that was like last week's episode, not last week, but like the one before. But when they were on the bus, the callback to like the old Star Trek movie. Was that a Star Trek movie? Yeah, they had a callback to like with the punk guy in the bus. It's
Oh,
like an
right,
old
and
Star
he
Trek
was real
reference.
nice after she yelled at him.
Yeah, but like in the I think it's like the movie where they go back for the whales. I think.
Right. Yeah, I know. I know it was something, right? And he's like, "Oh, I just really like this song." Like
But
you
like
would expect you to be like rude and
I
obnoxious
think
and
they were pointing at like that guy was like the same punk from like that movie,
oh, maybe I don't know. That's been a very long time
and
since I've seen it.
uh, Mr. Spock gave him a Vulcan nerf pinch
Right.
and knocked him out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I have a question for you. Do you want to continue with the discussion we had on the docket, or do you want to just do the fun stuff and keep it a short one for today?
I mean, there's time if you want to talk about, I mean, this is really more your topic.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could prepare a little bit better, and then I can have some better information.
I think this might be more of a thing for you. What I mean by that is like I my input to this is I do actively think about long term and short term. My brain, I actively think about it. I use some tools here and there to kind of organize to remind myself, but once I build a routine around that, I'm solid, and very rarely do I need to remind myself.
Yeah, but I'm
Uh,
not just talking about what I do, but like more of like um getting people to organize with you instead of just
oh, okay, yeah, got it. So
But
that could be. I mean, I
I
could
think it's
speak
a
to
better
that too.
discussion for another
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I've got some major projects going on right now, and it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, there's some stuff that needs to change. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll discuss it another time.
All right,
I
then
think
I
that's
guess
probably best.
let's go
Let's
on to
do
the
a
fun
short one.
stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So wanna go through the fun stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So haptic DIY haptic input knob. Polymatic link /144.
Yeah, it looks neat. I have one right here that's but the problem is I don't live in Mac OS world, so this is kind of a useless chunk. They're supposed to do Android and Windows and stuff, and they never did.
It's
But
not
I
one of
mean,
those
it's
Kickstarter
yeah, but it's
debacles.
really nice. I mean, it's well done. And actually, originally I ordered black, and they gave me, and that was limited edition. They gave me this, um, and it took forever to come. And and again, I haven't charged the thing, and it's really well built, but it doesn't integrate with anything because they didn't do what they said they would, which is they spent most of their energy and efforts on Mac OS, compatibility. And they're like, oh, you could build stuff in Windows. Here's a SDK. And I'm
Have
like, yeah,
fun. We're not spending money on that.
yeah. And I'm like, well, you didn't do what you. I mean, they delivered the device, and they made some other things that are kind of neat. But anyhow, so that knob looked pretty nice. And there's the SDK for it, but right, so that individual isn't selling the knobs or anything, right?
No, they're just. I think there's like a link with the the what parts you need.
If you want to put it together yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could definitely see a good use of putting something together if you wanted to complement it with software for things like video editing. But right now, my finger and my memory reflexes are all fine with a wheel mouse or a 6-axis wheel mouse. And the shortcuts in Premiere and whatnot, I can get by just fine.
Mm-hmm. Do you use a Stream Deck still?
I do. So for here, I have the bigger one down here. I have a bigger one upstairs. This is just the original 15 key, not the extra large one. And in between that, I bought the minis. So I have a mini down here that I took from upstairs. So how'd that work out? Somehow, for some reason, I bought more than one mini. So I have one down here that I use for playback. And then I have one upstairs I use for lighting and sort of app launching. And I only use, I haven't filled the whole thing up. And then for some reason I had a third one that was in spare. I can't remember exactly why I had that, but I did. And
Did you ever buy a 15 button one?
Yeah, I have. Oh no, okay, I'm remembering. I bought two minis. I think I bought one for down here for playback stuff originally, and then I bought another one for upstairs on my normal PC system. And then what I did is I switched it up. There's a 15 key upstairs. There's a 15 key down here for when I was doing the streaming stuff in 2021. And I took my spare mini 6, right? I took that into work and I connected it up with Zoom so I can mute or leave a meeting or, so I added a couple little buttons for things at the work PC. So yeah, I still have a bunch of them.
I bought a 6-button one for my streaming setup in my workspace, my makerspace area. I haven't used that yet, so I took that one into work, a 6-button one, and I had to have two 15-button ones, one for the art PC, one for the game PC that I used to record Stardew with.
Yeah, for the 15 key, the one that I use to screen the most is lights in the house, with the hue lights, and then the other screens are like I just filled up a bunch of stuff for apps to launch apps, but there's maybe a dozen buttons I use on that. I could probably just clear out the screen, but I have all sort of my editing shortcuts for crap, and I'm like, you know what? I should probably just go back and revisit. And it's like, okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. I use other things to get, to this folder or whatever it is. I use, Power Run and stuff like that. So like, I don't need a lot of that crap, and I should probably, simplify it. Here, I have this thing all set up if we wanted to do, streaming again like we did in the past with OBS, and that's great. But as it is right now, I don't really use this 15 key for anything. I use the 6 key for playback. So down here. So.
Anyway, a DIY haptic input knob, Polymatic link /144. Looks really nice.
Yeah. So this was really more for you. I thought it was interesting. Apparently getting these particular little Raspberry Pi setups for, I guess, Octoprint, whatever Octoprint is. So this guy, what he did is he found a way to run the Android app and get it configured up with his printers using like an Amazon Fire tablet, which you can get pretty inexpensively, and then just an adapter, right?
Yeah.
USB adapter. What is Octoprint? What does it normally do? What's its purpose?
So
I guess?
You use it to do unattended prints mostly and do time lapses.
Oh, that's what the camera was about, to watch it. Okay.
I wouldn't use I don't know how much these like tablets are, but like.
Yeah, I mean, you get a reasonable, especially when they go on deals certain times a year. You wouldn't want to like repurpose the tablet for anything else. It's perfectly fine if you're doing all the Amazon Prime stuff or you're shopping or you want basic tablet. You get into Amazon Fire tablet for like $50.
Okay, that's not expensive.
And then you buy one of those adapters. What they're probably going to cost you about less than $10 probably. And you can get like the nicer Fire tablet for $100 or something like that, but it's not like an iPad where you're spending $400-$500 for a tablet.
Well, you're not
These
getting
are
any of
not the
the.
same level of quality either, right?
It's not. It's Android, but it's like Amazon Android.
Right. They took a old
No
version,
Google. No Google
right?
things.
And you wouldn't. Again, it depends on what your meaningfulness of a tablet is. Android tablets sort of just Samsung made the best ones. But that being said, I had the tablet that Google gave us. I had considered buying one of those 8-inch tablets or something from Samsung or one
Mm-hmm.
of the 10-inch ones. But the apps on it aren't really that useful. And anything that has like a good integration with like a mixing board or lighting gear, they're basically in iOS, right? Any DJ stuff would be in iOS. So any of that stuff that I would care about, it would just make more sense to buy like an iPad mini and just, run iOS and get the integration that I need.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty much if you're talking tablets, you're going for an iPad or something.
And I think that's the only kind of one of those clear, okay, maybe an Apple Watch, because the Android version of it was just sort of never took off. Nothing really incredibly useful there. Anything that where anyone was making the quality ones, it was Samsung, and they gave up on Android Wear OS like a long time ago. So
Mm-hmm.
not that I am an Apple person, and that's the other thing is if you want to integrate your iPad or your Apple Watch into your life and you don't have an iPhone device that's like, Apple scoffs at you. Like, well, screw you. You don't get all this nice integration features because you're not a part of, conform with
Yeah,
us. Be a
I've got
part of
feet in
us.
both ecosystems, so yeah.
Yeah. So it's just
Anyway,
like, you know what? I don't really I have my phone. If I need to see the time, I look at the phone or I look at the computer. So
okay. So that was Polymatic link / 14C for Octoprint for cheap.
yep. Yeah, there you go.
Next one is Bewildering Architecture of Indoor Cities.
Mm-hmm.
That's a North American thing. Polymatic link / 145 for that.
I found that pretty interesting, and AWA, I believe, was at that particular Atlanta hotel. So I've been there. I mean, I haven't been there in a while, but I've been there a number of times. Um, and if you know your way around, you can kind of navigate through the convention center, and it takes you literally across the street as a mall. So a lot of stuff is in reasonable walking distance. Um, so it's interesting. And then it made me think about like here in the U.S. there's Embassy Suites. That's like a hotel franchise, and they maybe not as large, but they build sort of open. There's a big open atrium in the middle, and when you sort of come out of your hotel room, you can look over sort of the railing, and you see basically trees, and they always have koi ponds and stuff like that. So they always sort of open area spaces like that. I mean, that's a typical thing if you go to an Embassy Suites here in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I forget what fun fact was about, but
Me
yeah.
too.
Polymatic.link / 14F. I do remember. Okay, I don't want to ruin it. You just have to go watch it. These things are TikTok, so they're all short.
Yeah.
So.
Then middle of the night, Ellie Duhay, whatever, and there's a rock version by Rain Paris. So Polymatic link / 146 for that.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that was a choice of yours.
Why?
Just I don't know. I didn't think that was your kind of music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My music is all over the place. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a bunch of spaghetti.
All right, so this is somebody that sort of randomly came up for me. Clearly, she's been established in TikTok for a little bit. I like her energy. I don't know that I could. I believe she's normal in person, but this is what was her, Alea Jalen or something. I think is her name. But this just sort of gives you all the little samples that you need, more than you need to know about like what her videos are. And then I started watching her videos, and they're all very similar. She has like 9 parts to doing whatever, but anyhow, I found her pretty entertaining, and I started to follow her. We'll see how much. Maybe she's too much for me. But anyhow, who wants to play? She's customizing a keyboard. I think this is the final part. Polymatic.link/14b. She reminds me of a couple of people I know in life, sort of mashed up into one person with a lot of energy. I thought this was kind of neat, and pretty good job on the keycaps. So
Okay. Polymatic.link/14b for that.
yeah, the Stardew Valley one was neat. She's like, oh, let me grab that.
Next one is Moving Stones. That thing in Death Valley with the sailing stones, they call it at some point. So Polymatic.link/147.
Yeah, that's Physics Girl. I've seen
Yep.
that one before. Yeah. Okay. I thought this was a pretty good car accessory. I'm not sure I'd stick it on my car, but I like that someone created it, and I think it's warranted. Polymatic.link/14e. I think you really need to have like a mostly vertical like back window. A slanted one just probably wouldn't work as well.
Yeah.
This is that they're making fun of a meme that I don't know how the hell that became the meme, but it was a stupid meme that everyone is sort of, and then someone took this.
It's the isn't it like the Harry
sign.
Potter thing?
Yeah, the Harry Potter thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I at first I was like, what is this on? Why do I keep seeing this?
Yeah.
Anyway, Polymatic.link/14e for that.
Yep.
And then some Dutch pride. Why the Netherlands is insanely well designed. Polymatic.link/148. Yep, if you like cycling, the Netherlands is your place.
I was like, you said it. I was like, this is the pride about the Netherlands. However, that being said, like where I live now or where I might move to, you need a car for everything.
Yeah.
You just do. If I get an opportunity to move that particular one community that I'm interested in, yes, I can walk around the neighborhood. But outside of that, I mean, there isn't any value add. You have to get into a car and, drive. So,
Alan gets hit by truck.
Yeah.
With truck nuts.
Okay, so I thought this was interesting. Have not tried it yet. Again, I don't have a kitchen that I want to bake in yet or cook in at all because I don't really have control over the environment. But one day I will. Polymatic.link/14g.
And it's called?
2-ingredient bagel. It's really like more ingredients. There's a couple more ingredients, but
yeah. It's like kind of cheating, but
Yeah, I've seen people even do it with like biscuit dough. That's another way of like cheating where they're doing that as well. It's like, all right, biscuit dough and air fryers and I was like, okay.
Yep. And then
It
we
might
get
be
to
good,
the
though.
then we get to the April 1st part of the videos. Polymatic.link/149. Turning a cube on the lathe.
Yeah, I was like, all right, what's the joke, dude? Tony, what's the joke? Okay, all right. So 10 seconds, I was like, okay, that's it. How long is this? 9 minutes. Okay, got it.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you just have to go watch it.
Yeah.
How to turn
Did you watch all 9 minutes? Because I didn't. It's like 8 and some change. So, I'm rounding it up to 9. That was probably Medic.link 149. Okay, moving along. Turtle Soup. Polymatic.link/14d. I think this stuff when you go to like Disney parks. So I thought it was funny. I see these all the time, especially on TikTok when people walk up to who is it? The donkey from
Shrek?
Shrek. Yeah, I couldn't get to the name. I was working through my head of names. I've seen some, or even when people get to the stormtroopers in the the theme parks stuff. So this is just sort of another variation of it. I thought it was kind of funny. Polymatic.link/14d.
Okay. And then another one, Craftman's new channel direction, Polymatic.media/14A. Very
What the fuck?
like he's very wholesome and like building and like making little projects, little art things, and then this is like, yeah, this is very good, very well planned. Polymatic.media/14A.
Okay, so this one was just another TikTok random thing, but I thought it was funny. So I just labeled it as "What do you do?" Polymatic.link/14h.
I can't remember what this was.
This is the guy who comes in and his girlfriend's in background in frame in the background. He slides in, he says something, and she reacts.
I don't. Oh, that one. Yes.
That's kind of funny. It's like the fun fact one. It's kind of funny. It's just the only thing that can only work inside TikTok. You could never do this on YouTube. It just would be like, why?
Anyway,
that's the weird thing is TikTok has its own thing. People found how to utilize that platform in its own way. So
okay. So let's keep it short for this time. Yeah,
it's weird. Have we ever
weird,
done that?
right? Yeah. Well, next episode I'll be 40, so I'll probably have enough to bitch and moan about. I'm getting old. I'm old.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, Alan, you can find Alan at Polymatic.link/Alan. You can find me at Polymatic.link/John, because he doesn't want to tell me, where you can find
I should go look at what you
link.
did there to see what it's connected to. I've never looked.
Sending you to the Only Forks. No, it sends you to his Twitter. So Polymatic.link/Alan and Polymatic.link/John for our Twitters. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@Polymatic.media. Our Twitter is the Polymatic. Our website is Polymatic.media. And see you next time.